Hello, and welcome to Learning Excel 2016. My name is Mike Henry, and this is the first video from Chapter 1. In this video, we're going to look at what is Excel, why do we care what a spreadsheet is and what a spreadsheet can do. We're going to look at data versus information, and then we're going to take a look at a whole bunch of different features and functions of Excel that go across many different careers. And lastly, we'll end up with the what if game. So the first question we must ask is, what is Excel 2016? And Excel is a spreadsheet software. There's many kinds of spreadsheets out there. Different brands and different companies make different types of spreadsheets. We're going to be looking at Microsoft's Excel 2016. Now that comes from a long family and history. You might have some background with Excel 2013 or 2010. There was a 2007, and it goes back for quite a ways. So they all have some features that are the same, and 2016 has some newer ones to them. One of the first things that you'll notice when we look at a spreadsheet is that it has columns and rows. So you can see here we have columns, and they're labeled as letters. And we have rows that go across, and those are labeled as numbers. They meet in a place called a cell, and we're going to learn that vocabulary a little bit later on. Now this just allows us to stack data in all these little boxes. And data is anything. Data could be text, like the word delivery right here. Data could be just this number 5. Data is just a collection of information, or a collection of numbers and letters. Now when we turn that data into something like information, you can see here this is a order that was placed for this particular product, a strategy game called Kings and Jacks and Medieval Game of Deceptions. You can see the price and the number of players. This becomes information. This is something I can do something useful with. So data is just numbers and letters. Information is the result of data and what I can do with it. Now here we can also see that some math is being done. They're multiplying the price times the quantity to get us the charge. So math can also be done in spreadsheets. Spreadsheets is something that any career you choose, you are probably going to have spreadsheets somehow involved with it. Whether you're a business person, you're going into nursing, you're going into daycare, or you're starting your own business, you most likely will not get through life without doing some type of spreadsheets. Now this is a pretty basic spreadsheet. We'll be playing with this one in Chapter 1. We're going to get into some more advanced spreadsheets. So some things I wanted you to see about spreadsheets is right here, this one is calculating a loan. You can see the loan amount is for $150,000, and then down here the loan payment is being calculated by a feature called payment. And we're going to get to play with how to calculate payments later on in the book. We also are going to play with things like this. These are charts and graphs. So you can see here we've got our column charts, we've got a pie chart. This is a column chart along with a line chart that have been combined. In our financial summaries here we can see other kinds of charts and what we can do with them. So we're going to play a lot with charts when we get to Chapter 4. That gives the visual person a quick understanding of what's going on and what we want to accomplish. Now here we're going to move into, maybe some of you might be going into HR. You can see that we've got some HR data here. Person's first and last name, their employee ID. You can see the date they were hired, and then right here their years of service is being calculated based on what their hire date was. We also have their birth date. Their age is being calculated based on their birth date. So we have a lot of different formulas that can give us some great information. And then over here their salary increase is being calculated by a complex if statement. We have an if statement, and it does an or in there, checking if they're meeting certain requirements. So we're going to get into basic if statements, and then we're going to get into advanced if statements later on. Another feature in here that is really important is the whole reason we play with spreadsheets. It's called the what if game. This allows us to take data, turn it into really solid information, and allow us to make business decisions on our information. Here we can see this is a income analysis of a company, and you can see here we built a break-even chart from them. We know if they sell this many units, this is what their revenue will be, their expenses, and in between 8,000 and 10,000, we know they're going to hit the break-even point and start making money. We can chart this right here as your basic profit and loss graph. Over here we can say, well, wait a minute, what if we change our price and our units sold? So we're going to change two things, the units sold and price. So here you can see that if we raise our price up to $400 instead of $300, we're going to break even sooner. And so here's a break-even analysis based on some pricing. So this is playing the what-if game, and then we'll eventually get into the really cool stuff. We're going to do scenarios where we have 6 major things changing at once in different scenarios. So this is the last chapter of the book, the what-if game. So this gives you a gamut of what a spreadsheet can do. There is a tremendous more that a spreadsheet can do that you're going to learn throughout this semester. But this gives you the basics to it and gets you hopefully very excited to move on to the next chapters. So we looked at what is Excel 2016. We heard that it's a spreadsheet. We know that Microsoft has a history with Excel that goes back through 2010, 2013, 2007. There's a whole bunch of different versions of it. We learned that we really care because there's very few jobs that you will do in this world that does not somehow work with spreadsheets. Anytime you're working in the business world, anytime you're working in so many different careers, you have to analyze data and turn that data into information. You're going to probably be using a spreadsheet. We looked at some of the cool things that are going to be coming up this year, from basic math moving into if statements and looking up dates in tables, and then eventually we played the what if game. So these are all things that are going to be coming this year. Excel is going to be very exciting. You're going to be very challenged this semester, and I think at the end of it you're going to see how useful this tool is going to be for your future business career.